Fund Supermart, your online gateway to unit trusts.
"2015 will probably be remembered for the lackluster performance of markets. What is your outlook for global equity in 2016? Will this trend of performance continue going into 2016?
I think that it will be pretty much the same. Okay? The different economies in a different region are at different phases of the next cycle. With the US, of course, recovering, Europe side coming up, Japan still starting to pick up, and Asia still trying to find their way up, right? And I think this will be pretty much reflected in their financial markets. Okay? What this means is that at this moment, I still think that the US will do the best in the next many months. Part of the reason I say that is because given the uncertainty around us, US is still seen as a little bit of a safer market to be in. But the slight difference from last year would be that maybe by second half of the year, the leadership be taken over by the European side. Yeah, simply because I think US market has done very well and valuation is a bit more stretched. Yeah.
As for Fund Supermart, we continue to favor Asia ex-Japan equity with an emphasis on North Asia markets. Does Eastspring Investment share the same view?
Our regional office in Singapore do share the same view, in the sense that they believe that Asian market in terms of valuation is very cheap, and earnings will come back in the near future. But for Eastspring Malaysia, we agree that the valuation of the Asian markets are cheap, but we can't see the catalyst yet in the short medium term line.
Where do you find investment opportunity within Asia? Are there any countries or sector that you are bullish on, and why?
Okay, I would say that generally we are, as I mentioned earlier, we are kind of neutral on Asia, but there will be one or two themes that we can follow. One is that we know that consumption is coming back in the US and even in Europe. So if you follow along that argument, then you want to look for sectors that fit into the demand coming from the consumers in US and Europe. Okay. Now, the other area that in Asia that given the environment we are in, which is we feel that is still uncertain, we would rather go for some of those more defensive areas like healthcare and even rates, because we feel that the yield given is very attractive, even though rates are expected to pick up a little bit. Yeah.
Oil prices have dipped to new low, almost close to the level seen in 2009. What will be the implication on this on Malaysia government fiscal budget, the corporate's earning, as well as on ringgit itself?
Okay, I think it's already known already. Our last budget 2016 was based on the assumption of $48 a barrel, and now oil price is just hovering around $30, and our Malaysian office view is that oil price is going to stay low. Okay, and of course then the government will need to relook at their budget, and I believe that they have already announced. As to the impact on corporate, it will depends very much on what are the changes in the budget they've made. But overall, I would say that if you look at the budget on the revenue side, there isn't that many avenues more for them to raise revenue. So it would be more on the expense side, and I would think that it would be preferable if they look at cutting, if they need to balance it a bit more because of the lower revenue, to look at the operating expenses, especially the government departments and all that, rather than on the development expenditure, especially given that the economy is slow. We need this to stimulate the economy. Yeah. As to the impact on corporate earnings, I guess it depends on very much. Overall, I would say that it will be a slight negative simply because when the government spend less, is less expansionary, it will affect businesses. Okay. Now, as for the ringgit, all this the last 1 or 2 years, actually, the ringgit has been very highly correlated with oil prices, and I think this relationship will continue to hold, which essentially means that ringgit will likely be on the weak side.
In all, can you identify 5 themes, more or less, for 2016?
Okay. The first theme I would like to look at is the direction of oil price. Our view is that oil price will remain low, and we think this is actually a net positive in the medium to longer term, because it represents a savings transfer to the consumer space, and with that, if it is sustainable, consumption will pick up, and that eventually will start a new cycle for businesses to start investing again in terms of the capex side. Yeah. Now, the other theme that stuck in my mind is actually the ongoing debate on China economy, whether it's going for a hard landing or not. Right? It's very clear for us. We believe that China is obviously slowing down, but they have sufficient policy space to balance it in such a way that it will not go into a hard landing. But when it comes to fine-tuning an economy is a very delicate balance, and when you have a situation, sometimes they will stimulate a little too much and sometimes a little too little, and the market will react accordingly. And therefore, I think for this year, volatility is here to stay for this region. Yeah.